Welcome back, everyone. We are now into the 30s in terms of episodes. So I think once we get to episode 39, we'll be at the same amount of episodes as Matt is years on this earth, that's going to be impressive. But this is currently 31, much younger than Matt. And, we have a little preview of the Texas Grand Prix. Now, I'm excited. Are you excited? It proved to be a quality race last year, right? And it was pivotal in the championship in the end. So if you haven't seen the highlights, go and watch it. But I think it's quite a cool track. While I'm here, make sure you follow us on social media. Just search Racecast in TikTok, Twitter. The other one, what's the other one? Instagram. And we'll be there. You can also listen to us on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Give us 5 stars if you are. You might already be there now. So if you are, do that right away. If you're watching us on YouTube, click like, comment down below. Anything, just get involved. If we say something that pisses you off, comment and tell us. If you have a question, comment, we'll answer. And while you're around, subscribe. Anyway, let's go on with it.
All right, guys, welcome along. Just to clarify, I am not 39 years old.
He's not, he's 43.
57
You've had a
years
haircut,
old.
actually.
I have had a haircut. Oh, I went to that new place down in town. And for you guys who are listening, I have no idea where
Apparently
I'm talking
they do beards very well.
Yeah.
Reece said,
Yeah.
25 quid?
Yeah.
That's expensive for a trim.
It is.
That's all I'm going to say.
But I was in there an hour, right? Mm-hmm. And they bring you a coffee. I don't drink coffee, but the thought was there. The thought was there. I just got someone off the street. I said, do you want a free coffee? They came in and took it.
Did you?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, my God.
No. But
Did you tell them, I don't want that?
No, but they were nice. They're pleasant. It was actually quite a nice experience.
It looks very nice. If you're not from Seaford, this will mean nothing to you. But not much really happens here. So when a nice flashy new shop opens, we all go mental. But
Gone were the days of like Woolworths and
Woolworths, surely everyone, if you lived in like a little town or something, Woolworths was goated. That was like the shop, had everything in. Pick and mix, had all your toys, where you'd go and buy like your Yu-Gi-Oh cards from.
I loved it. I worked there.
Did you?
Yeah, whilst I was training, yeah.
Did you work with, again, this is just so off topic, that woman, she's like a Seaford legend, the woman that worked in Woolworths.
Yeah, the one who walks around with
Yeah,
I did, yeah.
Legend. Anyway.
Okay. Let us know. Do you
have any local celebrities who just aren't celebrities? And like people wouldn't like shout at her down the street, but everyone knew it's the Woolworths woman. It's like the trolley man at Morrison's.
Oh,
he's been there since the Safeways days.
The bald guy.
Yeah,
iconic.
Yeah.
I used to see him on a night out on a Friday night.
He used to love the Trek.
Is he still? Yeah, he did. Yeah,
I don't go out in Seaford anymore. But
no, banging. Let us know. Yeah, do you have any local celebrities who aren't celebrities, but you think you know them so well? They kind of are celebrities. Shall we get on to talking about F1?
Yeah.
So not much has happened. It's now Sunday. Luke is happy. He's just watched Liverpool beat Man City.
Hence me wearing the red Ferrari hat, although it's in support of the Mighty Reds.
Yeah. Not much has happened since our last podcast. I have to say, I got a bit giddy last week when we recorded because I was thinking, do you know what? We're going to actually, doing it live, although people would have heard it a couple of days later, we were going to actually find out what's happening in this whole budget cap saga. Let's just say, at this moment in time, on a Sunday, what is it, 6:50?
Yeah.
We still know nothing. It's gone quiet.
Yeah, and do you know what I was half expecting? I was half expecting more relevant people to come out and say stuff. I don't think we've really heard anyone come out and say, we've heard, I haven't read anything about any of the drivers saying anything.
It's all gone quiet, isn't it?
We've heard a few little things from Toto Wolff. Martin Brundle kind of commented on it. But there's been no one's said anything. No one's come out with a big statement saying, well, I think everyone is maybe a little bit scared to put their opinion out there because it's a controversial subject.
Yeah.
Now, we definitely weren't shy of our opinions. In my opinion, I still stand by it. It is cheating.
It's interesting because I've listened to a couple of of other podcasts recently
Yeah.
about this and, their opinions. Because I was like, are our opinions aligned or are they different? It's a bit difficult because one of the other podcasts, they're a Max Verstappen fan. And
Is that engine braking pod?
No.
Oh. Because he used to be a Red Bull engineer.
Yeah, no, it's not him. And it was quite interesting because his opinion was a fine will be fine. Basically,
I understand that at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Because when it's happening to the team that you are so invested in, like, you're going to want the minimal punishment.
Yeah.
But at these times, you do have to be impartial, right? And I've said flat out, I understand how out of order it is on Max Verstappen if he lost his championship.
Yeah.
I completely understand that. I would feel bad for him. But rules are rules, right? And I'm sure your parents used to feel guilty when they grounded you for, you essentially just being a kid.
Yeah.
But it was those things that sort of molded you into the person that you are and taught you lessons. And that is what needs to be done here.
Well, it's interesting because on Friday night, I watched the last episode of Drive to Survive. I wanted, after all of this had come out, I am over last year. I am. But obviously now this has come back out, I'm not. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to watch that episode and kind of relive it again and see if my feelings change with the new updated news that we know Red Bull have gone over their budget cap.
So that's only going to piss you off even more.
No, but it's interesting. It kind of put things into perspective for me. Okay, and I've said this before. We are Mercedes fans. So what? But I'm mainly an F1 fan. That's what we tune in, week out, and that's why we do this, to discuss F1 topics. And throughout that whole podcast, throughout that whole episode, I could just, when you see things, which things were a bit unfair here, a bit unfair there. Things didn't go right for Max at the beginning, when Lewis got pushed off and didn't gain an advantage. It was working both ways, so I could see.
I actually want to mention that just because, sometimes we get called out for the Mercedes bias, I thought that was, I don't think Lewis gave any of that, that time that he made up. I think he showed that he would have pulled away anyway, but I do think that was unfair. I don't think he gave any. I think he was right to run off there.
Yeah. He would have gone into him otherwise.
Yeah, there would have been a collision. But he did not give any of that advantage. And he gained a good advantage from going off there.
And so I thought that was a bit unfair I thought it was very much unfair for Red Bull. Amazing by, Sergio Perez. He fought like a lion against Lewis. He really gave him a great battle.
Perez in that race was exactly how we wanted Bottas to be that whole season.
And still Bottas makes me...
was not even, he couldn't even exist in the shadow of Perez that season.
There's a clip in there when they go, Bottas goes, "Where am I? P8. Fuck." It's just like, they needed Bottas that race. But there was, when you look back at it, I still think how it ended was really sad because it tainted Max Verstappen's title. I feel like Lewis Hamilton should have won that race on a whole. Don't get me wrong, these things happen in motor racing. These, crashes happen, safety cars comes out, things change. But the fact that, 5 cars were moved out of the way basically to let them go racing, where actually Max was on fresh softs. He had the best tyres going. Lewis was on like 38 old, lap hard tyres, old tyres.
And the big thing is also like cars earn those cars in between them, if that makes sense. Like, back markers slow you down. That's just sort of the way it is.
Yeah.
So you earn those cars in between you.
Yeah. But do you know what I learned the most from that though? And this kind of put things into perspective for me about this whole, what should happen. Regardless of what happened last year, I kind of accept it. It is what it is. I was happy for Max. On the whole, he was brilliant last year. He really was. It was a great battle. One of the best F1 seasons I've seen probably in my lifetime. But what it showed is, from a Red Bull point at the moment, they went over their budget cap. That's been confirmed. From a punishment point of view, they all celebrated as a team at the end as far as I'm concerned, it's a whole team sport. They all, all celebrated. Christian Horner celebrated. He didn't just let Max go, I can't be in this team. It's Max's thing. No, they celebrated as a team. So if I feel the punishment now needs to be as a team, where they deduct points from the Drivers' Championships, they're all a team. Because I guarantee you, if they deduct points from the Constructors and the Drivers' Championships, and for example, Max loses his title, no other team will ever do this again.
No, for sure.
Ever. This makes a great stance for FIA to get respect from fans, get respect from the drivers and teams on the paddock. For once, they can actually make a decision and go, do you know what? No. Ross Brawn said it back in 2019. If you actually, go above this budget cap, you will lose your championship points.
And did you see what NASCAR did this week?
No.
A team were caught. I'm not sure what the infringement was, but basically a team were caught breaking the rules. They got deducted 50 driver points, 50 constructor points.
Yeah.
So, it was effective. They took a stance. Someone was cheating. They did it. And that is that at the end of the day, because, now the issue we have, right, is, and I don't like this, but I understand this. We've got the potential that it is just going to be a fine. And now you've got Toto Wolff coming out and saying, well, if they're just going to get a fine, we're going to breach the rules. Well, okay, I understand that perspective, but now it's the punishment which is in effect making a mockery of the rules, because now, okay, the teams that can afford it all are just gonna go and do it, and then that completely eradicates the need for this financial.
There's very minimal consequence if they don't make a big stance on this, like a really big stance on this, and actually say, do you know what? No, I'm taking your driver's points. Max, for example, loses his title. Teams will go, okay, Christ, we got to be on this, because
Well, because do you know what I saw? Who was it? It was Alfa Romeo. Do you know what their budget for R&D new parts this season is?
No.
2.5 to 4.5 million.
And supposedly they've gone over, from reports I'm hearing, is about 1.8 million.
Yeah, but now new rumours are flying about. Initially it was they had gone over on the catering.
Yeah,
budget,
I mean,
which
come on.
I actually just want to put it out there. How can you go over in any one area? Because the budget cap is just, this is the amount of money you're allowed to spend. Spend it wherever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
It's 145 million. Not sure what it is exactly. It's about that. Say 145. How can you be like, oh, we went over 2 mil, but it was just on food, so it doesn't matter?
Yeah.
Well, no. It's encapsulated in the whole budget. If you went over 2 million, you can't just say oh no, it was that made us go over.
Yeah.
It was everything that made you go over. It's a budget cap. It's not like if you're pouring water into a glass, it's not the last 2 drops that make it spill. It's everything that's within it.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand that, but now there are rumours that there's controversy going on behind the scenes about Adrian Newey's involvement within the team. Now, the top 3 earners, this doesn't include drivers, the top 3 earners at the engineers at the team are not included in the budget cap. So, when you've got someone like Toto Wolff, who earns 26 million a year or something, Christian Horner, who earns 10 million a year, Adrian Newey, who allegedly earns 10 million a year. Now, the rumours are that he is down as a contractor. So they've included their top 3 engineers.
I heard this.
Not included Adrian Newey because he's a contractor, so he's not technically an employee. And now I'm reading that there's issues surrounding that. Now, that wouldn't mean they've gone 10 million over the budget, because obviously Newey would go into that top 3, and whoever was in 3rd place, however much they earn, would then put them over. So I don't know. We as fans are being kept in the dark. Now, I personally would like a bit more transparency, because I thought that was the whole idea.
Yep.
But we are not being told a single thing. Red Bull have obviously, you know, like we said last episode, denied the whole thing, or denied that they've gone over the budget cap. The FIA have really only said they have gone over the budget cap. And we have no idea what is going to happen. We've had no race week, so we've had no one talking to the cameras. I do think this week, Thursday, you know, Friday, Saturday, towards Saturday, they'll start focusing on the race, I'm sure. But definitely Thursday, Friday, there's going to be some juicy interviews.
I'm gutted. I'm in Poland this weekend.
Why are you there?
I'm with your brother. We'll go in Sweden. You know.
No wonder you're gutted.
Yeah. I tell you, I really am.
But I think there is going to be this weekend. I don't know, guys, if you're planning on doing something, I would make sure you have your notifications on.
Yeah.
For like F1 news, because I feel like things are going to be said and it's going to get heated.
I agree with you. I don't like the whole thing of, like, you know, there was Singapore, there was a lot of rumours going around. Okay, well, it's going to come out on Wednesday. Doesn't come out on Wednesday. You have to wait until the Monday the 10th. You wait until Monday. A report comes out, yes, Red Bull have gone over. Silence,
yeah.
I don't like that. You know, it's a week later, and as fans...
It's something as big as this as well. It's not like...
But you've got such a global audience.
Yeah.
You know, can you imagine... You know, don't get me wrong, if you had like 10 fans and you went quiet on them for a while, it'd be like, oh yeah, no worries.
Like us.
Well, yeah, like us, yeah. But you've got a global audience who want answers, who want to know whether Max, you know, or Red Bull are going to be penalised. Is Max going to lose his title? Is Lewis going to become, you know, an 8-time world champion? Is he going to, you know, there's so many answers. Is it catering? Has Adrian Newey gone over on his contract, which they haven't factored into that budget?
Did it actually benefit them in the development last season? I think that is also what they need to look into. Like, how much did Red Bull spend on development last season compared to Mercedes? There's no point comparing it to other teams.
It is interesting though, isn't it? When you look at last season and everyone was like, oh, Max is, you know, was you know, the best overall throughout the season. And what I've seen a lot of tweets coming out and saying, well, Max had to win. Well, Max won because he had help from the FIA, Michael Massey, and they spent more on his car, so they had a better performing car. You know, part of me feels that's a bit unfair. But again, this goes back to the fact that actually the 2021 championship, which, as I said earlier, was phenomenal throughout the year. You had Monza, you had Silverstone. It was phenomenal. I was gripped all year. If we did,
you had America.
Yes,
that race was so intense. It came down to the last lap.
You know, you had so many close races. You know, it started in Bahrain. You know, when, you know, Max had to give the place back and to Lewis. You had so much throughout that year, which
I also want to point out. That was harsh on Max.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have had to give that position back.
No, I agree.
I was so glad that he had to, but he should not have had to.
No, I do agree. But there, you know, it's such a shame that season has now gone under. It's now become a bit of a joke. If that makes sense.
It's just been like engulfed by like a world of controversy.
Yeah, I find it really sad.
You know, controversy is good when it's like. When it's that, like, because they're at each other's throats, you know, oh, is Lewis at fault for the crash at Cops? Should Max have given Lewis more space at Monza? That sort of controversy I love, right? But when it's coming down to these, like, technical bullshit things which don't directly translate to racing, it's a bit like...
Yeah, no.
It takes away from the, like, spectacle of the sport itself.
I feel like, you know, we're now in a position, and David Coulthard came out this week and he said, you know, the FIA need to actually put fans first, because he says, you know, after last week, for example, in Japan, it was very much like you knew rain was coming, but you just waited for it to come, and then you just red flag it after you had an incident. Do you know what I mean? You knew rain was coming. So
they could have just been like, we're going to delay everything by like an hour.
Yeah.
Because then we know we have the 3-hour period or whatever, and they can move things about.
Yeah. It was quite an interesting read, because he was going, you know, they're putting sponsors first before fans.
Yeah.
And actually that's got to change, because there's such a discrepancy at the moment from fans to the FIA. to sponsors. Do you know what I mean? There's such a gap between them all. And as I said earlier, if the FIA want to get respect from fans back, they've got to show that actually they're in charge.
Yeah,
and
they
not
need
the
to take
teams.
control of the sport, basically.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I know you was talking about an article before we started this. So let's hypothesize here.
Yeah.
Or speculate. Let's say, for whatever reason, I'm going to put on the record, I don't believe this is going to happen.
Yeah.
The FIA deduct 30 points from Max, 30 points from Perez, 60 from the constructors for last season, right? Max loses his title. How does Max react, right? Is he now committed to Red Bull?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Or is he like, what the fuck, you guys have cheated? And because, we'll say this on record as well, like, I'm 99% sure Max would have had no idea if they were overspending.
Yeah.
I don't think the drivers get involved in that sort of stuff. And if they're like, oh, we've got a new part for you, you're not going to be like, how'd you afford that? Like, you're just going to assume, oh, they worry about that stuff. They give me the stuff. I drive the car. But if they violated the rules and cost him his first championship, when Max was driving unbelievably, I think the cars were so close in pace. Because didn't Mercedes stopped upgrading at Silverstone, didn't they? That was their last upgrade.
That was the last upgrade, yeah.
The cars were so close on pace there.
Yeah.
So they could have stopped there. Is he going to lose his head with the team and be like, what the fuck? You've cheated. You've costed me this championship. And now, we look like just a bunch of cheats.
Well, it's interesting. Like you say, there was an article. So Mika Hakkinen believes Max Verstappen will not spend the rest of his career at Red Bull. And obviously, it's interesting. He got his second world championship last week in Japan, and he signed up until 2028 because he signed a 6-year deal
on 50 million a year.
Mick Hakkinen doesn't believe that he will stay with Red Bull until 2028. But my question is, and I see where you're going with this, but if you're Max Verstappen, you've won your second world title. For example, hypothetically, he loses his title in 2021. I don't think he would still leave, in the sense of where else would he go where he is going to get a fast enough car like Red Bull. Don't get me wrong, they spend a lot more. What means more to him? Respect from, being, or just being in the fastest car.
Okay, but also moving forward, let's say part of the punishment is they're hindered. They have less budget.
Yeah.
And even less wind tunnel time because they're going to get the least amount anyway next season. So let's say now their development, is going to stagnate because they can't afford to do it.
Yeah.
They're maybe not collecting as much data. So now is he thinking, okay, they've cost me my first championship. They're now costing me a potential future 2 or 3 championships because it's quite easy to fall behind.
Yeah.
Ferrari are very close anyway, and they're going to have more money to spend next season, naturally, because they're probably at the top end of their limit for this year. Mercedes, don't sleep on them. They've won the last 8 Constructors' Championships. Is he going to be thinking, okay, if a position, for whatever reason, came up somewhere else, Ferrari, it's only Ferrari or Mercedes he can really look at. Could he maybe think, at least I'm not going to get screwed there?
Can you imagine the biggest U-turn? He's like, do you know what? He's found out Red Bull have cheated. He's not having this. He rings up Williams and goes, look, give me a seat.
Now, what I would say is I don't think... I don't think he would do that. I don't think he should do that either.
I can't see him leaving Red Bull.
I think, look, regardless of how you view this Red Bull thing, they're like an unbelievable team that have it on point, head to toe. Maybe not in the accountancy department, but yeah, he would be silly to leave.
I think he's
I
got to.
find that a weird thing to say as well from Mika Hakkinen. Like, is that him just saying something to like get in the press?
Probably.
It's like,
But
guys, I've got something. You're going to want to
Yeah.
hear this.
I don't think Max is going to stay at Red
just
Bull
like-
for the remainder of his career. Yeah.
Oh, what makes you think that? All right. Cheers, Mika. Nice one.
We'll
Quiet
put you-
day, is it, mate?
We'll put you front page. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I can't see Max leaving. In
No.
all honesty, I think he's got too much of a good relationship with Horner.
I am keen to see the Red Bull boys in the media pen this weekend
Yeah.
because they're going to get asked some awkward questions. Let's be real. When these sort of things happen, journalists are not like, "Oh, we'll go easy on them." That's not how they work. They're going to ask them questions that they don't want to answer. They perhaps don't know how to answer. I'm excited to see how they respond to it. Is Max going to be annoyed by the whole thing? Is he like, no, actually, I'm really disappointed in the team? Or are they obviously... I think right now they're probably going to come out and just be like, we didn't go over the budget.
No.
We're contesting
They're
it.
contesting. Yeah.
As Horner's going to come out and say...
Wouldn't it be great? Sergio Perez comes out, he's getting interviewed and he was like, and they go to him, did you know about the fact you overspent in 2021? Well, I did find it weird because our food cart and our it changed massively. There's so many more quiches than normal. Yeah.
Fillet steak and lobster. The Alpha Tauri boys were just having dry pasta. So, yeah, no, I think they'll probably keep their mouths shut thinking about it.
Yeah, I know. Let us know what your thoughts are.
I'm excited to see Horner cry.
Well, I can't see it happening. Just touching on Horner, I told you this. I listened to a good podcast the other day, A Diary of a CEO.
Yeah, Stephen Bartlett.
Christian Horner was on it. And it was really it was an interesting listen, actually. And basically, he said that he's a very calm and collective, team principal, unlike, his counterpart from last year who throws his toys out of his pram and all of his stuff.
Yeah, because Christian Horner never comes on the Sky mics and absolutely talks out his arse, does he?
But an interesting fact, and see if you can guess which one. So Christian Horner was asked, what was your biggest achievement in F1 so far? What championship meant the most to you? So 2 options. Seb's first championship, I think 2010.
For
Red Bull.
A, Red Bull's first championship.
Yep.
B, the youngest ever driver to win a championship.
Yep.
C, Christian Horner's first championship.
Exactly. Or was it Max Verstappen's championship in the 2021 season?
Well, everyone knows that Max is the golden boy. So obviously, it's Max's.
It was Max. And I found that really bizarre because I was like, surely the 2010 one meant more to you because it meant all that hard work which you led up to win that championship. I thought it would be, but he loves Max too much.
Yeah, and
I think if he could adopt Max, he would.
Oh, for sure.
That's why he hates Jos Verstappen. Get away from my boy. Get away
Does
from
he
my
not
boy.
like-
No, I'm joking.
Oh. Good old Spendy Spice.
That's so good.
No, I don't know that. I can kind of understand it. It was an intense
Was it? Yeah,
championship,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, because that championship with Seb, the first one, was also the start of a beautiful run for them.
And that was
Where
an
they won
intense season. They won it on the last race of the season.
Well, I swear that was where like 5 people could have won it with
Yeah.
like 3 races to go or something.
Yeah. I think he's just because he loves Max too much. But anyway.
I also think he hates Toto that much.
Yeah.
So like beating him felt so
good.
amazing.
Do you know what I would love? What was that?
That was my toe clip.
Oh, was it? Can you imagine if Max loses it? Okay. Sorry, I know we're going on about this for a long time, but I'm just having all these images in my head. Toto Wolff, it rains, okay, this weekend. Toto Wolff goes sliding down the pit lane in front of the Red Bull garage, like a Mo Salah or something.
They'd have to rub it in.
Yeah.
They'd have to.
Yeah. Just put one of those vans outside Horner's house, Lewis Hamilton 2012.
With like a big billboard.
Right, let's move on. Has
there been any other news this week?
Yes, so Danny Rick has come out and suggested a simple fix to F1 after the Japanese Grand Prix came close to being a repeat of the 2021 washout at Spa. As you know, last week, the Japanese Grand Prix, it took a while. There's a red flag after lap one. We had to wait ages for it to stop raining. And it's getting more and more frequent now. We've had it at Monaco this year. And it's just getting a bit tedious, isn't it? So Danny Rick has said...
We also had it at Singapore.
Singapore, yeah. But Danny Rick has said, we want to race. Where I wish we could do better is, look, I know it's easy saying it now, but we know the rain was going to come. Even if you bring it, the start, he means, forward by an hour, maybe we gain 20 laps at the beginning and you can still make a race of it. So that's where, again, let's try and learn something from this.
I also think, just interrupting there, that if they were out on track and it started raining, they'd look at it very differently.
Yeah.
Because it's like, they're out there, they're in the swing of things. I feel like they'd be more reluctant to halt the race than they are to start the race in those conditions.
He says, I know there's TV and everything, that's a big part of it, but ultimately we want to have a race. That's more important. And I agree with that. It is a spectator sport. And I think, I would rather have seen a full race than just, one lap. I get up at that time, one lap, then I have to sit around for an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes until they start again. And then we have 20 laps of racing. Yeah. And then Nicholas Latifi gets freaking points. So, he pissed me off yesterday when I watched that Drive to Survive thing, when I saw him crash again. I was like...
Well, you know what will piss you off even more?
What's that?
When every time you look at your bicep, you just see him looking up at you. And when you tense it, he'll start smiling.
What do you think of that? Do you think actually, we need to be a bit more... Okay, if you're looking at a race weekend, for example, sorry to interrupt. You're looking at a race weekend and they go, okay, we know rain is coming tomorrow at this time. We're going to bring it forward by an hour. Would you be annoyed by that?
No, they need to be flexible. I understand they have timings in place. Sometimes it's not possible. If there's F2 and stuff. Yeah. And on the day, I think it's really hard to move around on the day. It's probably easier to delay things by like a whole hour. But I know they delay it. But what I'm saying is when we have that stupid bullshit like, oh, everything has to complete within 3 hours. No, can't we just like delay that? Like if you delay a race, can't that just go with it?
Yeah. No,
because then it's sort of like, when you have that flexibility, when it's physically there, I'm not saying delay it like 2 hours so all of a sudden the drivers are racing till like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Like within reason, when it makes sense, when they are able to do things that aren't like ridiculous or they're logistically impossible, then I think they should be able to be more flexible.
What, like Lando Norris's sleep, 7 a.m. Lando, right, we got to go now.
Yeah.
The car's ready.
You're on in 10. Like... And I think where possible, it needs to be called the day before. But, weather forecasts, particularly with the technology that like they have. But, I mean, even the weather forecasts that we see, we can look at our phone and be like, oh, we can see that it's going to rain at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Normally, it's pretty accurate. Yeah. They're going to have, some insane weather forecasts. I mean, you see it when you're looking at the race and they're sitting at their pit wall and they can see it all moving in and stuff. So, it'd be nice for them to utilise that to benefit us as fans.
Use their initiative a bit more.
Yeah.
Let us know what your thoughts. Other news: Saudi Arabia would love to hold 2 F1 races. Obviously, we know we already have one race there.
No.
I mean,
I don't like that.
We know with Jeddah, but obviously they're in Saudi Arabia at the moment they're building another track. Can you read that track? What's that called?
Wood Love.
No. The one over there.
Oh. Kidia.
Is that what it's called? That's actually very good.
Oh, that would sound about right.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I just say the reason why I don't like this, right?
Yep.
These countries are very small. America, having multiple races.
Multiple countries?
Multiple races, I understand. It's a very big place. You've got like 4 different seasons in America at a single time. So that I can understand. This is 2 races in Saudi Arabia, like they're probably next door to each other, these tracks.
Yeah.
That would be purely just for money. It benefits the same people can go and watch it. I also understand like part of the reason we're traveling around the world is so fans from all different areas of the world are able to watch the sport live in person. We said nowhere in Africa has a race. Think how many fans there that want to physically watch a race. They'd be able to go there. But we're going to give 2 to a tiny, tiny, tiny little country like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
It's maybe not as tiny as I exaggerated, but it is, it's a small...
Tiny little...
Yeah, it's a small country. That just, I don't know, it doesn't wash well with me. We had 2 in Bahrain.
Yeah.
Last year before.
No, 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which... Bahrain is one of my favourite tracks. And I know Sakir is a variation of that track, but I just don't really agree with it. I think, let's take it to as many different places. So
South Africa would be amazing.
Yeah.
I would love to go back to South Africa.
There's got to be... And even, different parts of Africa.
Yeah.
Africa, again, we talk about America being a big place. Africa is like colossal.
Yeah.
They could have multiple races there in all different places.
Did you ever see the South Africa track?
No, show me. But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are, guys. Like, I think, do you think going to the same place twice is a good thing? Because a lot of people have this thing about even the States having 3 races. That looks like a fun track.
It looks a cool track, doesn't it?
Looks fast.
Yeah. I like this.
Yeah.
It's fast straight down there.
Yeah. No, it's nice. It's a nice looking track. And, we've spoken about these nice tracks that do exist in places that don't get used. And then somewhere just builds a track and then they're just like, oh, we'll go there. And, Saudi Arabia, let's be honest, are a country with a lot of money. There's a lot of oil sponsorships there.
Yeah.
It makes sense for Formula One to go there purely on a money basis. So perfect. We've got one race there. I understand it. It's also a really cool track. Jeddah, might I add.
Oh, sick track, isn't it?
But, I think rather than expanding within a single country, let's go elsewhere.
No, I agree. Let us know what your thoughts are. Anyway, shall we talk about this weekend's Grand Prix?
Yes.
So before we get on to the quiz, the constructors' title, win records, team battles, and much more can be decided this weekend. Still yet to be decided, sorry. I like how they just with these people who write these articles, they put him as a junior staff writer.
Just junior.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rip-off, isn't it? Junior staff writer.
You sure that's not his name?
No, it's not his name.
That'd be a coincidence, wouldn't it?
And how do you say that? So obviously we know Max Verstappen is the 2022 world champion. The Constructors' Championship, battle for first. Austin will be the first time that Red Bull on 619 points could close out the Constructors' Championship. But Ferrari, who are 165 points behind, will be hoping that a strong showing in America can put the Milton Keynes celebrations on hold.
I reckon the comeback is on for Ferrari.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think they might win it.
Second in the championship, Ferrari may still have a half an optimistic eye on Red Bull. There's no optimism there.
I know what I just said, but I was lying.
But they will also be looking over their shoulders at Mercedes in third. The current gap between the two is 67 points.
Yeah, now, and with Ferraris, they're looking a bit more reliable now. But Sainz went out last. We said their reliability. When we talk about reliability, it's not specifically mechanical. It's also driver reliability.
Yeah, but you've got to remember, Sainz, they were driving around on Inters in a bloody, it just aquaplaned off. It was a bit harsh to say categorically that was his error. Do you know what I mean?
Leclerc didn't go off.
Yeah, okay,
Max
fine.
didn't go off. Perez didn't go off. Lewis didn't go off. George didn't go off. Lando didn't go off.
Top of the midfield.
Not even Latifi went off.
Oh, shut up. Top of the midfield. It has been back and forth affair between McLaren and Alpine.
Yeah, now this
is a good battle.
This is the best battle of the season.
Yeah.
At this point, it was Ferrari, Red Bull. They sort of pulled away a bit too much. But now this battle is really heating up.
Yeah. No.
I'm excited.
I think Alpine will go. They finish above McLaren.
I think the main reason for that is Danny Rick.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to be harsh. I really don't.
But you're going to be.
I just feel like if they had someone that was performing at Lando's level, because I do think the Alpine is a better car,
Yep.
but they've also got two very solid drivers. I mean, one two-time world champion.
Yeah.
But Lando, I think, is pulling that McLaren into like a level playing field territory.
Yeah.
with
I
them.
see it. Yeah.
And I know they had a very solid race last week.
Yeah, they did. But again, I think Alpine, for me, Alpine, the only thing that ruins Alpine's chances is their reliability.
Yeah, and that is because of work they've done on the engine.
Yeah.
So we hear. But that car is very quick. You know,
Straight line speed.
Lewis can
Ocon,
overtake it
yeah.
in.
Ridiculous. Battle for sixth. So on 52 points, Alfa Romeo at one stage looked to be in the fight for fourth. But having only taken 1 point since Montreal, their sixth position is now under threat.
That is actually...
That's mad.
That is unbelievable. That was so long ago,
Yeah.
that race.
Aston Martins, who are only 7 points adrift from Alfa Romeo, are in the battle for sixth.
Wow.
Also in contention are Haas and AlphaTauri, who are both tied on 34 points. It's exciting, even at the back of the grid.
That will be huge
Yeah.
for Aston Martin if they manage to get that sixth position. Now, obviously, they've had a couple of good race weekends.
Yeah.
But if they can keep that momentum, you know, that because we know that they are heavily investing.
Yeah.
Heavily investing. Now, they need to move up. They need to get back to at least where the Racing Point was, where they took over.
Yeah.
Whether I think they can do it or not, I don't think AlphaTauri can take that sixth spot, personally. Haas, I don't know. I just don't think... I look at Seb and Stroll, and I think they're probably the two drivers I would put my money on to be able to do it.
No, I'd agree with that.
As a pair, you know, I think better than K-Mag and Mick.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I look at the AlphaTauri, and it's maybe not even necessarily the drivers. I think the car is just...
Not good enough.
It's not good enough this season.
Ironic, isn't it, really? As they're the sister team of Red Bull. But
Yeah, I know. You would think they would naturally just perform better.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, Alfa Romeo, they've got some real problems.
Yeah. They've only taken 1 point in the last 9. It's just outrageous.
Yeah.
That is bad. That is poor form. Some records. Would you like to hear some records?
Yeah.
So Max Verstappen wins. The record for the most wins in a season is how many?
Oh, I actually know this. Oh, I want to say like 16, 17.
13.
Oh, shit, no.
Held by Michael Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah, no, that Michael Schumacher season, there was 17 races, I think.
Yeah. But
And was that the one where he got like a podium in every single one?
yeah, that's the one. And obviously Verstappen now has 12 victories this year.
Oh, Verstappen will break that record.
So he needs 2 more to beat Vettel.
And how many races have we got left? Must be like 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Yeah, 4, I think.
Here, Max will do it.
2 wins the next 4 races. There you go. Points. Verstappen had already accumulated 365 points so far this season, meaning he has a chance to break Lewis Hamilton's record for most points in the campaign, which is 419. With only 4 races left and a sprint race, may I just add.
Where is that, by the way?
Brazil, I believe.
Lovely.
Do you think he will beat Lewis Hamilton? It's a given, isn't it? I mean, 365 points. Lewis Hamilton's 419. He's definitely going to break that.
Yeah. If I had to put my money on it, I would say yes. I'm maybe not as convinced that it's a dead cert as you are,
Yeah.
because that's still 59 points in 4 races. But if you were to go off the previous 5, 6, 7 races, you would say, yeah,
I think it's a given.
no chance that Lewis is going to keep that record. But, you know, strangest things have happened. At one point, we were saying, you know, this is Leclerc's season.
Yeah,
So
true.
it only takes one thing
Yeah.
for it to change. And I believe we are... I don't want to start this again. getting Mercedes upgrades this weekend.
No, just stop it.
Don't bet on them.
Largest championship win. So Verstappen currently has a 113-point lead over his teammate Sergio Perez.
113.
113. The record for the end of the season is a 155-point victory over Fernando Alonso in 2013.
Who had that? Oh,
Sebastian Vettel.
Yes.
Yeah. I think 113 Verstappen currently has, but the record is a 155-point gap. I think he can do that.
Yeah. It's a tough one because Perez is in the same car. So, in theory, if the Red Bull does keep performing, he should be getting those P2s. But then we are aware that Perez does seem, off the pace, and Leclerc sort of slots in between the two.
Yeah.
Other than last week, of course, and the week before. So, I don't know, yeah. I'd say no, because I think Perez is going to keep collecting P2.
Yeah. Russell has led 87 laps in his career, but still not yet won a race. That's a hell of a lot of laps, isn't it?
Well, I would say majority of those laps have been held maybe where people have pitted and he's just been in P1 and still needed to pit. A lot of those laps would have also come from Sakir 2020 where he was shafted by
he should have won
the team, nature, whatever. But his win will come, but you can't expect them to win in the current car.
No. Final one of these. So Mercedes' record for the most points in a season is 765, set in the 2016 season. Red Bull are currently on 619 points.
How far off is that?
765.
I don't think Red Bull will get that.
No.
Because I don't think Max will win every single race.
No.
And I don't think Perez will get P2 in every single race.
Yeah.
And I think they more or less would have to get P1, P2 in the next 4 races.
Yeah.
To be able to do that. But they're going to come close. I'm sure of that.
No, I agree. So, would you like to know the race weekend timings?
Yes. Now I like this because it's evening stuff, isn't it?
It is. I'm going to be in the air on next Sunday on the way home, so I'm not going to be able to see it.
You're going to miss Lewis win his first race this season.
Do you know, nothing would please me more to get off the plane and see him win.
Will it not also piss you off at the same time?
No.
Watching it.
If he won it, I'd be happy. So FP1 is on Friday 8 till 9. FP2 is 11 till 12:30. So it goes into Saturday.
Sorry, what? So FP1?
FP1 is 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock on Friday. FP2 is 11 o'clock at night. Goes on until 12:30 in the morning.
Because they're doing also the Pirelli tyre test.
Yep.
It's been moved because we had the rain. I'm a sleepy boy. It gets to like 10 o'clock and I'm like, I've got to go to bed. So that's going to be a tough one. I'm going to have like a Red Bull or something.
FP3 is 8 until 9 o'clock on Saturday. And in qualifying is 11 till midnight.
Yeah, now that's perfect. I'll be out and about. I'll be on the town. So that's fine. I've just got to find somewhere that is showing it.
And the race is 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock on Sunday.
That to me they are some beautiful timings. I love that.
They are good. Okay, so this is a point where you can win some prizes. So
you never bought my food shop.
Yeah, I did.
He didn't.
Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so if you get, I'm going to say this. Okay, if you get 3 of these wrong in a row, you have to do an Instagram post of my choice.
What? Why am I signing up to this?
But if you get one right, remember, you got to get one right, okay? You just win pride. So DRS detection zones, how many are there?
2. Yeah, it's on that long middle straight. and then the pit straight.
Congratulations.
Yes.
When was the first Grand Prix held?
2009.
2012.
Hey, I was close.
Number of laps?
Yeah, weird one. I feel like it's a fairly long track. I'm going to say 58.
56.
Oh,
Lap record. And who by?
Lewis Hamilton.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton.
Nope, still no.
Okay, Max Verstappen, he did a 143.
Nope. It's a 136.1.
It's a 136.1, and it was done by
Charles Leclerc.
Charles Leclerc in 2019.
Mate, outrageous.
It was 2019 as well.
Solid, that was. Absolutely amazing. Obviously, last year, can you tell me who the top three were?
Well, I can tell you P1, P2.
Yeah. But I'm asking for top three.
Yeah, so Max,
Yeah.
P1, Lewis, P2. Obviously, Lewis qualified pole, if my memory doesn't serve me wrong. But he got undercut.
Max started on pole.
But Lewis was in P1 at one point. Did he overtake it? I can't remember. Because I was in the airport lounge in Dubai here, and the Wi-Fi wasn't very good. Weirdly, flying business. I don't know. Should be good. It's outrageous. I wrote a complaint. I was fuming. But yeah, no. And because didn't Lewis got undercut?
Yeah, he went on to new tyres and he was catching him, but he was in a dirty air for so much of the time he just couldn't get past Max.
Well, yeah, I know.
Because he ended up finishing 1.3 seconds behind him.
Yeah, it came down to the last lap, and I think there was a back marker in between them.
Yeah, that's right.
Which then gave Max DRS down the straight.
It was Mazepin, I think.
Oh, was it? And Lewis didn't get it, so it gave Max the gap.
Yeah.
But like I say, that it was an intense race. If you didn't watch it last season, go and watch the highlights, because even the highlights are quality.
Yeah, they are good.
I don't know who came P3 though. Can I Valtteri Bottas?
No, Bottas finished 6th. It was Sergio Perez.
I should have.
Who, funny enough, was 42 seconds behind Max.
They were clear last season. Lewis and Max. I swear to God that, it's rare that we see
dominance from two individuals. Yeah,
that level of absolute class.
Yeah, no, it's good.
From two drivers.
I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I'll probably end up watching the highlights, but I am looking forward to the race. I think it's going to be a good one. Guys, actually, before we finish, top three.
My top three. It's got to be Max. I do think, I'm going to say Perez is in good form. There's no reason for me to not say Perez P2.
Yeah.
Charles P3.
Okay, I'm going to go for my top three is...
What I will add is there is some fast corners around here.
There is, yeah.
This might benefit the Mercedes.
No.
I'm just saying, I don't think they're going to win. I don't think the car is going to be weak.
No.
This weekend. I think it will be a fairly competitive car, and maybe they'll be able to give Sainz a bit of stick.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go Max P1, Charles P2. I'm going to go out there, Lewis P3.
You were just about to...
I know. Do you know what? I've got a good feeling.
I mean, he's got a good record there.
He has. Lewis P3. Slag me off all you like. Yeah. I'm going for a Lewis P3. Guys, let us know what your thoughts are down below. Hopefully you've enjoyed the episode. Anything else you want to talk about?
No. Obviously...
Have you read the Jensen Button book yet?
Yeah, from front to back and back to front. I wanted a Benjamin Button version of his life. What? So I read it from the back page. I mean, his downfall was awful. Went from world championship to karting. It was embarrassing. But I'm not going to read it. It looks so good, though.
That is so good. But guys, sorry, you were going to say something, weren't you, before then?
Yeah, well, obviously there's not been a great deal of news this week. It has gone very quiet, which I find... I want to call it the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of fighting talk this weekend. It would be nice to see the team principals getting punchy again. Because it's going to happen, Toto's going to say something. Christian Horner's not going to like it. He'll say something. Toto won't like that. And, they're...
Binotto would be like, I want to get involved in this.
Yeah, hopefully
he'll say something.
Hopefully Binotto says something.
Hopefully Zach Brown gets involved.
And let's not forget here, Aston Martin, they breached in one way or another. We don't know the details really, a procedural breach. Our team's going to be upset about that. The teams that are maybe fighting them, I don't know. We have to see. I think next week that we're going to have so much more to talk about.
All right, quick question before we finish. It's a Royal Rumble, all right? WWE Royal Rumble. Team principals. Who wins? My money's on Otmar or Zach Brown.
Toto.
Nah, do you think?
He's a unit. He's
he is.
6'4". He I don't know, he looks like well built as well.
Yeah. All right, yeah, good shout. I think someone like Otmar, we would just run at people.
Mike Crack would get broken in the first set. He's gone, mate. He is out. I don't even think they'd let him... I don't even think they'd let him in the ring. He'd run up there, look, and be like, it's not worth it.
Binotto would get absolutely...
Oh, Binotto, yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't win.
They'd punch his hair off.
Let us know who would win.
I think it would be between Toto, Zach Brown, Otmar, but Gunther Steiner, dark horse.
Gunther, yes.
Because I reckon he's got some dirty tactics.
He'd come in with the chair.
Yeah, he is that sort of guy.
Yeah.
He pulls in the ladder.
You can tell I'm extremely tired because I just popped to my head and I just had a little chuckle. I can just imagine.
Who's winning that Royal Rumble?
That was no... but yeah, not a massive amount of talking. It is going to be interesting this weekend to see who actually, what is said.
That's what I mean. It's the calm before the storm, so prepare yourselves, is what I think.
It's going to... Yeah. I think, if Red Bull get away with this... Team principals on the grid aren't going to take it that lightly. They're going to go back at it.
Let's not forget that also the cost cap, one of the biggest reasons it was brought in was to close the distance between the very top team and the very bottom team.
And bring fairness to the paddock.
So now if these teams are just able to breach the cost cap with fines, that's going to piss off these smaller teams who are like, we can't afford this. Yeah. So you brought this in so we could all compete at a fair level, and now you're just letting them go off and do whatever they want.
Nope.
So, it's not just going to be Mercedes that are pissed off because they lost last season. It will be the smaller teams. And, I'm interested to see what they all have to say. I just know it, Toto and Christian Horner is Hollywood stuff.
Yeah. This type, last year will become a movie in years to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. Guys, thank you very much for watching, listening. We'll be back next week for a brand new episode. Check out all our latest updates, all latest F1 news on our Instagram. Luke does a lot of work there. He might even do some TikToks this week. Who knows?
I run that show.
He runs nothing. So yeah, have a great week, and we shall see you next week for a brand new episode. Bye-bye.